We are back. New year, same us for the most part, unless something weird happens. But we're here with our Fave Fives. I have some other stuff I reviewed as well. This is the ADLR podcast, by the way. By the way, I hope everyone had a fantastic holiday, whatever you celebrate, if you celebrate. We are back again, 2025, Fave Five of 2024. I would listen to music up to like the minute, dude. Like up until you were like, I'm ready to record here. I'm like,
Yeah,
the tracks one was the big one for me because I'm like, God damn, there's so many singular tracks and a bunch of projects that I'm like, this slaps.
yep. There was a fifth place for this for both song one or music related ones are the hardest one to do.
Yeah, like easy enough. Maybe it's because I saw plenty of movies this year or last year, but I don't know if it's because of the quality of movies I watched. But it was pretty easy to set my five. Not that the rest were not that the rest were bad. It's just I knew I can get five where I'm like, y'all need to see this, right?
Definitely a lot. If had I seen, probably would have. My favorite movies from a small selection.
Pretty much the five selected ones, maybe like 10, but same with
Yeah,
same with TV shows. I didn't binge too much new TV this past year, but for games had me worried in the beginning of the year. But then by the time I got to November, I'm like, okay, no, we're good. I played a good amount. Have some favorites. We're good to go. Uh, did you? Let me get the two quick reviews out the way, I guess, and then we could go jump right into the Fave Five if you don't mind.
do
We
it.
uh, do it. Do it. I need to practice it. First on the docket here, I watched Real Pain, the Jesse Eisenberg movie he wrote and directed.
Huh?
I'll give you the overview and then I can maybe shed some
It's really
context in
weird. I
there.
had my Fave Five open, but not the podcast sheets. I'm like, where do you get this from?
Oh yeah, you haven't. That's because it's been a while. That's what happens when you take a long break. Oh, you getting
Damn,
so the sickness is still there. It wasn't a morning thing.
it's still a nose thing. No, luckily, I don't want to jinx it, but it's just been like sniffles,
Sniffles.
and then it's been like alternating between like like congested, then dry as fuck, and sometimes drip, and then loop.
Yeah, that's where I was at. That's pretty much I think what I got. So you might be getting the same thing.
So
No
Voldemort
body
had the
aches.
right idea. That's all I'm gonna say.
There's still a nostril in there. Like it is just because this is not there. Like he still has the same framework, right? Like he
Yeah,
still
but
needs.
he doesn't have this. So let's say if his nose is itchy up here,
Yeah,
it's easier.
you'll just see boogers flying out forward
Yeah, but
onto you.
he could just Q-tip and then scratch the parts that we can, like up here, and he could put like something that would lubricate it, so it's not as dry, easy to resolve.
Okay. Hey, I'm not.
I would think.
Lord V, so we'll figure it. He'll let us know. Um, what was I talking about? Oh, a real pain. Uh, Main people are Jesse Eisenberg. He's in it as well, and Kieran Culkin. Seen him in Scott Pilgrim, Succession. This. He's in a bunch of other things too, but I don't follow him like that, so I don't know a lot of his work. He was in something else too. Home Alone and Home Alone 2. Who did he play in those?
Probably related to his brother.
Oh, right. What the heck am I asking that for?
This
Anyway,
guy's crazy.
so we can. Anywho, overview is mismatched cousins David and Benji reunite for uh, a tour through Poland to honor their beloved grandmother who passed away. The adventure takes a turn when the pair's odd. Oh, I'm sorry. The tension. Try that again. The adventure takes a turn when the pair's old tensions resurface against the backdrop of their family history. So as they're going through this, it's like a Holocaust tour because they're from a Jewish family. The grandmother died, so they're doing this tour, they're kind of going through their shit as well in the midst of dealing with their grandma's passing, and now this tour, and then like they haven't seen each other in quite some time, and then like their baggage starts to come to light, if any. But I don't know. It was like a very wholesome, warm movie. If that makes sense.
Hmm.
They both did fantastic. I think everyone, even the supporting actors, the actors and actresses that were in here. We have I don't know them by names, but we had like a good 5 or 6 people in that tour with them. Besides them, I think it was, and they all have their own bit to add to move the story along here. But I don't know, which is a an easy hour and a half of a nice compact story, great acting in it. I don't know, it was just a good time. There's nothing too action packed or CG heavy. It's just people talking, right? It's people going through what's it called? Some good shots of Poland. It make Poland look really nice.
Holy.
Yeah, like I was waiting for maybe that hilarious, like a nod to them. I don't know if Jesse hasn't really listened to Lil Yachty or someone in the editing room does or something, but it would have been a good small bit or gag to put in that.
The most surprising part is that it's only an hour and a half. I'm fully expecting movies to be like 2.5 minimum now.
Well, yeah, because they're big budget. Like I'm assuming this wasn't a huge budget. This is like the movie DVD. You know how it normally has budget and revenue. It has no idea how much budget because I'm assuming it was indie, but it's
It's the
made.
revenue though.
Yeah, the revenue's almost hitting 10 million. So that sounds like a success to me. You make a movie and it makes $10 million, right? So,
Easy.
but either way, I think it's a very believable chemistry between Jesse and Kieran. It's definitely worth watching. A good one. This maybe would have made my fave five. It's just again, it's going up against some other ones that I've rewatched multiple times already.
Some kilos.
Some other killers I just rewatched. I've only watched this once, so I'm not sure how it would, you know, go how it would work over time if I'd like it more or not. Um, that's all I gotta say. I say go check it out. A Real Pain. I think it's on digital. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's on digital services everywhere, so you can rent it or find it in your nearest pirate shop. Uh, and the second, as you saw, I was playing the Plucky Squire. The very, oh no, it's a mix between 2D and 3D. So you start off as a 2D because it's the story of a plucky squire in a book. He's the hero of the said book, and he goes up against Humpgrump, which is the main villain. Except Humpgrump runs into some power that lets the creatures cut, like lets things jump between worlds. And being that's a book, that's like, oop, I hit a button, nothing changed. Cool. He pretty much banishes you from the book, and now you're out in the real world, which is a kid's room named Sam, and he's the one that's like a huge fan of Plucky Squire. Like in that world, like he's a real comic hero, like a book hero or something. So the kids are fun with. So you get to like look around a bit when you're doing the 3D levels and see stuff in the kids' room, but it's mostly focused on just the game's progression, narrative progression, right? Uh, and like you could, if you would have told me when I saw the trailer for this the first time, I'm like, this is easily going to be my Fave Five. I can already tell, right? Playing from beginning to end, I do have issues with it. One is input. Unless it's because of latency, like I was mentioning, you heard me say it multiple times. It could have been my setup. I have it connected in the living room to a receiver, then to the TV with VSync on. So like anything that has latency was going up against me. So it felt very weird to play, especially on time sensitive or like time sensitive inputs that you need to put in. It just felt odd a lot of the times. Like it just didn't feel like it was as responsive. Um, and besides that, a lot of it felt like a showcase because you're jumping between chapters and you're doing different things and you're getting upgrades. You're like, oh, this is awesome now, but you just get it for that thing and then you'd lose it. So you can't like, oh, let me go. Like this would have been a crazy Metroidvania if they, but I don't know how it would work because you're flipping through a book, going through different scenes. I'm not sure how that would work, and going through chapters that changes the state of the story and said book that you're going through. So I don't know how that would work, but like you get upgrades. Where I'm like, oh, now I can rocket when you're in a 3D world. And I'm like, now I can jump everywhere and see if I can cheese jumps or explore more. But everything's very focused, which isn't a bad thing. It's just I felt like it wanted to do more, but it couldn't. Either because time, tech, like I can feel the potential there, in multiple of the boss fights. Like they did a simple punch out thing for one of the bosses. Another one's like an aiming one with with a bow and arrow, but it was very simple stuff. It's just he's on the off to the side and it's like a target, and you just got to put it on top of enemies and like pull your bow until it's like super. You know how like the crosshair will get smaller and smaller, as if like now you're super accurate and deadly. You do that with the bow for a bit. Um, they try to do some things where like you can interact with the book from the outside world, like the stamps you were seeing. So you can like, oh, there's something in my way in the book, so you can jump out of the book, stamp a bomb or something to get something out of the way, or stop something from moving, so you can so you can like do a puzzle. So there was a lot of okay, let's get different creative, right? Different types of puzzles where you're like, oh, if I remember correctly, there was a word in a different page that you can like take out and then swap with a word swap with a word further into the book, and you'll change the outcome. Like if there's like a how can I say it? Like if there's like a frog somewhere that's over, like one of the texts says, "Hey, a frog is overlooking said cliff." You could replace one of the words and make it seem like, "Oh, the big frog," and then the book would react, and now the frog's big, and that could be something that can help you in a puzzle later on, or oh, this bridge is broke, like this broken bridge is in the way of the heroes or something. And then you would have to like either nearby there might be a word that you can swap it out with a fixed one or an iron bridge, things like that. They're simple enough puzzles where it's like, okay, they're not gonna like completely halt you. You're just like, oh, I got this, and you with trial and error you'll get through it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, that's what I wanted to find out actually that I'm talking, because I was gonna say whatever these guys start, like I don't know if this is the developers' first game, but if it is, it is. Well, all possible futures to dev. This is a fantastic first showing because they showed off some 3D platforming design. Same with like 2D Zelda type of navigating, I guess, and some sort of the combat. It's just that I played on easy, so maybe it's more challenging and difficult on higher difficulty. Because on an easy difficulty, it was a couple swings and we just kept them moving until the boss fights came.
It's the first thing listed on Steam.
Oh yeah, I looked at their IGDB instead of IMDb. Uh, and the developers are called All Possible Futures. And looking at what's on that site, the only thing that they've released under that name is Plucky Squire last year. Anywho, that's all I gotta say. I can't give it a hard recommendation, but if you take a look at the trailer for the Plucky Squire and you're like, that looks interesting, it is worth the time. It's 10 chapters. It didn't take me long to finish. You go through the chapters pretty quickly. Some of them are a little longer than others. Like around the meaty chapters are like chapter 6 or 7, maybe 8, where there's a lot of platforming and or navigating or puzzles to get through. And then the boss fight that gave me the most trouble was there's like a metal bird that you have to like attack on rhythm. And remember that input latency shit I told you about not too long ago? That was throwing me off because like they had like safety net. They had like safety net areas where you can hit where you could physically see them not hitting the thing that's approaching you. But if you just hit it on time, it'll just be like, oh yeah, they swatted it away. And
Yeah, it looks like whenever the background behind the object is white.
then you can like hit it technically, but then that was to in my eyes and my brain. I wait until I see it, hit the button, and then even that it'll say, "No, you miss. You didn't hit it in time." And I'm like, "Well, I don't know if it's me, the game, the input latency. Like, I don't know what it is." And that's where the frustration came with the input, because that you have to face. Remember how I told you like, oh, maybe they all ran away. You have to maybe boss rush them at the end. That's
Mm-hmm.
exactly what happened. It's all the bosses you fight up until the last chapter. You fight them again, but a little souped up. So the segment with the bird came back, and it was like a long for the last hit of that boss. It's a long segment of you're playing Rock Band, but without having
Mm-hmm.
to worry about which uh like fret or which thing you're hitting. Like you're just okay. I'm just hitting A on beat, right? Uh, the Punch Out one was cool. It's definitely worth trying. I don't know. I don't know if this is an everyone game, bro. Like it's got a mixture of a lot of things, so I don't know what it is. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
There's no one genre here because it tries a lot of things in here, and that's where it could be a good thing or a bad thing. There's some Mario in here with the platforming. There's some Zelda here with the adventuring. What it was missing is the backtrack. Like, there's a little bit of backtracking to solve some of the puzzles, but it's not Metroidvania backtracking, right? And I don't know how you would mix all three, and I'm not hoping for them to do that. The characters were pretty funny. I enjoyed the little world they made. I think it's called Mojo or Mo something. I forgot what it was. in the book. Yes, that's what the fairy tale land is called.
Oh yeah, Mojo. I think that sounds familiar.
With a cool, diverse, like biomes. Like there's the heavy metal one. I think you were awake during that. Uh, Very similar to what is it, Adventure Time, with like the center castle, instead of it being like candy, it's Queen Chroma, so it's everything artistic and stuff that's in the middle, and that's why you have like music on one side, writing in another. Like it's sort of about creative art, sort of not. Anywho, it's got a lot of charm. It's got a lot of fun sections. Like it's definitely worth trying out. I don't know if this is like a buy to own thing,
Hmm.
but definitely give this a shot when if you get a chance on a sale if you can. Even if you see it on sale, absolutely buy and try it. But I think full price is you're on the Steam page still, bro.
Hold on.
I say how much is it on Steam?
I can't spell. $30.
That's actually not too bad. Never mind. I don't know why I thought it was like a full $60 or $70 game.
Same. I was gonna ask you if it was on sale. How much would you? What would the sale have to be for you to justify it?
No, 30 was fine. I just didn't remember because I think I pre-ordered it when I saw that it was available, and I'm like, I'm gonna play this. Uh, but 30 is actually pretty. That is a okay single player game. There is replayability because you have like collectibles and stuff to find out or to find out. Um, that's it. That's all I got. It's on almost everything. It's on Xbox, PlayStation. It's on Switch, and PC. This definitely feels nice at a home with the Switch. I'd imagine. Portable game, single player. You can just take anywhere. And shout out to the autosave in this game because like almost everything you do, it's saved. Pretty much. If you clear a page and it's saved. You don't have to worry about it. I've had it crash on me like once because I was trying some stuff off out of the game to try and do with the game, and then it crashed, and I'm like, okay. But it saved exactly where I was at. Boss fights, like Brian was there when he saw it, like in the middle, like it actually checkpoints when you're doing like phases, which I'm like, thank you.
Yeah,
Um,
I was not expecting that at all.
which I always find welcoming. And if people don't like that, I get it. That should just be either a difficulty setting that people should add, or accessibility, whatever you want to place that in. But this doing a whole boss fight over because the second phase like destroyed you, silly. If I bodied that first phase, I don't want to ever see that phase again, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, that's it. Go check out Plucky Squire. It's charming, it's cute, it's fun. It's fun for the whole family. I shout out to the narrator too. Like, there's not much dialogue at all. It's mostly just like some laughter of Humgrump, and then the narrator. The narrator did his job really well, narrating the book or the story that includes the book.
Not like one to one, but it was refreshing because it reminded me of the Little Big Planet narrator.
Did we? I think I might have asked this. Did he? Have we? Has he? What has that guy done something after a Little Big Planet that we might have heard or seen him in?
I have no clue.
I wonder if. Hold on. Can you find that on IMDb? Let me see. IMDb.
Yeah,
What's his name?
Little Big Planet.
Little Big Planet. Because yeah, he was a great narrator. I enjoyed him in Little Big Planet. Oh,
Stephen
it's Stephen
Fry.
Fry. Why am I freaking out? It wasn't. It definitely wasn't Stephen Fry in Plucky Squire. I can tell you that. Or maybe I am. Or maybe it was. Hold on. If I type in Plucky Squire on IMDb, are we good? Plucky. All right.
No, Philip Bretherton.
That's who voiced the narrator. Oh, I see. Yeah,
Yeah,
Philip Brotherton. Shout out to you, man. It was excellent. He had enough sass and enough like he was. It was just very subtle and very effective. His narration. Uh, that's all I got for new stuff consumed. Next week I'll probably talk about Bad Monkey because I finished watching that show, the Apple TV crime comedy with Vince Vaughn as lead.
it doesn't actually have a monkey.
He doesn't, but there is a monkey in it.
It's chill.
Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, it's chill. That's pretty much a good review for the most of it. I only have like an episode or two left. for the season. Anywho, now that we have that set aside, we're here with our Fave 5 of 2024. Forgot to put 2024 here. I'll update yours too. We have the same categories as last year. We have our favorite 5 movies. We have our favorite 5 music albums, favorite 5 music tracks, favorite 5 music games, and favorite 5 TV season. As long as they came out and or aired during that or during 2024, it's fair game.
I just want to interject one little bit unrelated, but did you see the 2 things that are premiering this week?
Premiering?
Shows
I mean, Severance is all the one I know. I don't know what's the other one.
Castlevania Nocturne.
It's this week. I saw you put the trailer.
Yeah,
I didn't see the
put one
date.
more trailer, and it's like 17th. And I was like, all right, well,
Yes. Oh, that's excellent.
that's all I'm gonna say.
Oh, I might binge that then.
I don't remember if it all dropped. I forget.
Last time for the first season, I'm pretty sure it all dropped. Nocturnal or Castlevania Nocturne. I'm pretty sure what it did. Actually, let me double check. Let me double check before I call myself a liar here.
I don't remember, but just from where I left off before.
That's what I'm saying. Like, oh, that's not how you spell nocturne. You need an N in there. Let me take a look.
Also unrelated.
So,
I found a pretty decent sale for Dynasty Warrior Origins, so we'll have it.
oh, perfect. I wanted to check it out. I heard it was reviewing pretty well.
People who got the digital deluxe edition on Steam could
Yeah.
play for 3 days earlier. And right now, with 622 reviews, it's overwhelmingly positive.
That's good.
I'm excited.
I like that. When I first saw the trailer for it, I'm like, a game I can just hit buttons in. Perfect.
What sucks, apparently it's not co-op at all.
It's only single player? That is a little bit of a bummer. I don't know. Maybe since this one did so well, maybe they'll add co-op in the next one. If there's gonna be a next one.
Or they just, I don't know how they work with their DLC or like post-game support.
I wouldn't add co-op. Like, I know a lot of indie games are doing that. Like, oh, they're adding co-op to a game like months after or whatever, which is thank you for doing that. But that stuff needs to, like, in my opinion, should be launching with it. That's just me though.
I don't know, brother.
I appreciate the co-op addition to games, but like, if you planned on adding co-op, that should have been a day one thing, bro. Because I don't know, in terms of balancing and designing and stuff like that, that's huge when you add another player into the board, if you will. Anyway, good call. I mean, there's stuff to watch this week, man. Severance and what's? Oh shit.
Do you remember if Severance was all together, or is it weekly?
That's probably gonna be. It's Apple TV. They want people to stay subscribed. I can let me double check. Actually, I'm sure they have the dates. Severance, TV show, season 2. It's gonna be 10 episodes. It is definitely weekly. With new characters, let's now look at the thumbnail. Cool. They have 4 episodes with 4 thumbnails, so excellent. I saw someone I have never seen before, so I'm like, okay, we're gonna move on. It's out this week, so I'll watch it.
Damn.
So that's a good call. I forgot that's this week. I don't know, which one do you want to start off with? Movies, music, game, TV shows.
What was the easiest one to fill out for you?
TV was like the easiest one for me to fill out.
There you go.
Okay. I guess we can alternate. You said yours is ordered, all of them?
Yeah.
All right, then we can go jump back and forth for our well, my 5th, it will be Fallout Season 1. I really enjoyed Fallout because what happened? You didn't like it?
I forgot that came out this year.
Yeah, Fallout Season 1. I thought it was a really good adaptation, which we're on a roll now. Last of Us I enjoyed a lot. Now Fallout I'm enjoying. I'm like, people are getting it. Stick to the source here and people enjoy it. Well, I don't know if they stuck to the source, but
Fallout, I mean, there's an asterisk. It's a different. It's a different spot in the world that I don't think was in any of the games or DLC. So
it was. It wasn't the original 1 and 2. Like, they mentioned a lot of the places that were in games that were before 3. So I'm like, I think, and I started playing Fallout at Fallout 3. So all I know is Megaton, and then Fallout 4 with the Diamond, like the main hubs. We'll see. But that was my first. entry here. What did you put for your number 5?
My number 5's The Bear season 3.
That's number 5? Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know why I said it so
Um,
loud. I'm so sorry.
it was a good season. Still a great show. Coming off of the second season that I have a lot of bias towards.
Uh-huh. I mean, it
This one
was
seemed like they played it. This felt like a
wow.
pregame for the next season if they choose to do one. But I still liked it. I didn't hate it. It was
Uh-huh.
still great content amongst other things that I've seen.
Okay.
Keep it up.
Um, my fourth is gonna be Mr. and Mrs. Smith, season 1, the Amazon TV series with Donald Glover and let me not mess up her name.
I didn't even realize that was this year too. I didn't get around to it.
Mrs. Smith. Please tell me that comes up. TV shows.
I
It
don't remember her
does.
name, but I know when I saw pictures of her, I was like, she's adorable.
Maya Erskine. I'm so sorry for the last name. I was first introduced to her in Pen 15, the TV show she had with her. I don't know if it's. I'm sure it's a friend, but it was a comedy of them being like high school kids or something. Hold on, give me a sec to middle school, yeah. And that was a pretty funny show. Here in Mr. and Mrs. Smith, I think the chemistry between them is very believable. There's very funny parts. There's very dramatic parts. They got something here with the two leads here. I hope they continue to make more. Uh, what's your number 4?
My number 4 is Shrinking season 2. Uh,
Okay.
great. Literally, I watched 1 and 2 back to back. I caught up on the show within a week, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Weekend, not even a full week, a weekend.
Damn, 2 days.
Just great content, especially for like people who are fans of Scrubs, and there's not too many shows out. One, I don't think there's any show that'll fill the void of Scrubs, but to get like a Scrubs light, especially because Ted Lasso's over, and then something else to fill the little void as well as it could, because same writer.
Yeah.
I like it. It's funny, but there's also some
Super
hit
heavy.
him right in the balls.
Hit him right in the balls. You
Hit
know
him right in the balls.
what's crazy that you say that? I'm like, that's right. That did air last year. Like, I didn't recently see that. That's not my my fave 5.
Mm.
That's wild. Anywho,
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It's right up my alley. If they would have had more British people, it probably would have been show of the year.
oh, okay. But they can't just like offload everybody from Ted Lasso on there because they're like, oh, is this the new Ted Lasso season? No.
Allegedly, that's coming back.
Yeah, but it's gonna be a whole different vibe. I don't think it's the same crew, right? I think they're just bringing it back because Apple needs people to subscribe, right? Ah, you don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I just hope it's not like the Scrubs extra season.
I don't know the way that season, the last season ended. It felt like that was it. So if they're making more, it sounds like they're just trying to get some subs. What was I gonna say? Oh, nothing. That was a good pick. I completely forgot. I should have added that to my list here, but oh, you caught it.
Yeah, actually.
Oh, damn, he's the one. Anyway,
I don't.
what?
Hold on.
What? Oh, you gotta wipe off the evidence when ballistics comes in. They're like, no, we don't know what you're talking about. There's nothing. No, my number 3 here is Shogun season 1.
I
Uh,
haven't started it.
I don't know. I just have like I guess a soft spot for like period pieces, especially when it has to do with, like Japan or something, and it's you get to a peek into the different culture, the different swag people wear. Like it's definitely a they teleport you to this time. Like you have the English people like going, "What the heck? You shower this often?" And I'm like, "You are asking that?" Like that's how far removed we are from like the type of civilization there was back then. And I'm like, yeah, that's crazy. The acting's fantastic. Our boy's in there that we keep following from movie to movie. I keep forgetting his name though. He won. He won
the
it.
guy to be IRL Hanzo.
Yes, he won a fucking. I think it was a Golden Globe, and he definitely earned it. Same with one of the supporting actors, I think, from the show. Which shout out to.
Oh, is it the guy from Bullet Train?
The guy from Bullet Train?
Yeah, there's a younger guy, younger Asian guy in Bullet Train. Is it that guy? Who just type in Shogun and see.
Yeah, I need you to find out who this person is because I don't know who this person is. Isn't it? The guy I'm talking about though is Sonata.
That's his character's name?
No, it's the actor's name. He plays Yoshi Toronaga.
No, I know that guy. That's the guy that I wanted to be Hanzo.
Yeah, and you say a younger Asian dude?
I thought you're saying he's the supporting actor? You said someone else is a supporting actor.
Yeah, another person, and his name is Tadanobu Asano.
No, I'm thinking of another
Because he had
show.
he had a speech where he was like, "I'm from Japan. I've never gotten like." He was very humble about it. Took his award, and everybody went wild. Which, I mean, he earned it.
I'm thinking of a
Almost
different
everyone did.
show.
Not
I think I'm
almost
thinking
everyone.
of Warrior.
You might be because I Shogun.
Let me
Yeah,
see.
Warrior came out a long time. That's a movie, isn't it?
There's a show that came out in 20. It started in 2019, and the guy from Bullet Train, the younger Asian guy in Bullet Train, is the main character in Warrior. When you said supporting cast, I thought you were talking about that show. And you're talking about him. I thought for some reason I thought they're in the same show as well.
Oh,
Because it's funny because they're both in Bullet Train. So I thought, oh, that's cool. They're
I'm surprised you didn't mention Boy Kills World. 'Cause that's where he's in as well. He's Basho.
yeah.
The guy you're mentioning is Basho in Boy Kills World. Um, not him. It was somebody else. What was I gonna say? Definitely, I love Shogun from beginning to end. It was shot beautifully. The where they shot looks great. I don't know if that was in Japan or not, but like on location, I guess, or a mix between sets and on location. But it looked great. Everyone was dressed great. The acting was great. It's definitely worth watching. What is your number three?
My number three is Arcane Season 2.
Am I tripping? That didn't even make this cut either.
I probably watched a lot less TV than you. So maybe.
The things that I have on my list, the only thing you have not seen. Oh no, never mind. I think
I haven't
we.
seen most of it.
Oh, you're right. Let me shut the hell up. I was about to say the only ones you haven't seen are the top two, and I'm like, well, that's 2 out of 3, so that's low
I've seen
percentage.
Fallout. For everything you've named, I've only seen Fallout.
Then you've seen the majority that's on my list. Because it's
Okay.
if it's 3 or more, it's majority.
You've seen my entire list.
I don't doubt that, but that's not me flexing.
Arcane, I have my gripes about how it ends, but overall, when I hit play,
Uh huh.
I was like, oh, I'm caught up.
Wait, what?
From
Oh,
I
because you
waited.
binged it. Got it.
Yeah, I was literally
You didn't go part by part. You waited till
three
all
of the
3 of
four
them.
weeks worth of episodes were out, and then the fourth week
It's
is only
3
3 weeks.
parts. It was only 3 parts. So you probably waited the first 2,
Okay,
and then on the weekend the third one came out. You watched it.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. I'm with you there.
Great take on characters from League. Uh, cool way to do new characters. Gorgeous as always.
No spoilers, but there's an episode where you take a different take on characters that are existing. Because when what's his
hmm
name goes through what's it called, and you're like, oh wait, well this is a different version of what we know.
By far my favorite episode of the series, probably.
We needed something warm. Like it's been nonstop bad things happening. So
Even
like
like that episode is good enough that you could have spun off and did like a little short movie off of it.
you can do a mini series on what it's like to do on that side. There's enough things I think change that the characters themselves can flex that different version of themselves.
Yep. Overall, just like you said, the adaptations, it's not 1-to-1, but what they decided to do with the storytelling, chef's kiss. I'm gonna miss the show. Going for whatever they decide to focus on next.
I think this was their catalyst, and they're gonna start spinning off a lot of stuff, which could be a good thing, but it could also be a bad. They're trying to make their own again universe, I guess.
Take their time. That's all I can say.
Yeah, man, don't rush it. Remember, it took 10 years for that quadrillion billion money that Marvel got for Endgame. Like it took a lot of years.
And even then now, I can barely bear it. I only got to episode 3 of What If this season. I was like, I don't give a fuck, and I haven't watched since.
Bro, okay, so it's not just me. Like I have it on my up next thing, and I'm looking at it. And I'm like, do I want to watch this?
Bro, they thought
I have yet to start What If because every time I'm about to hit play, I'm like, "Ah," and I go watch something else.
They put the premise in the episode name, so it's not a spoiler. The third episode, and this is the last one I saw. I'm like, I don't. This if this is what they got. I'm good. What you remember Darcy, the late Kat Dennings' character?
Mm-hmm.
What if her and Howard the Duck had a kid? Who's asking for that?
What the hell?
What if
Who's asking?
Agnes? Yeah. What if Agnes was in Hollywood?
Agatha
Agatha. What if she was in Hollywood?
as a
I don't give a
star?
shit.
Like,
Yeah. What if we do like a Godzilla movie with the Avengers?
who's playing? Like, is it Godzilla or is like some big?
It's the Hulk tried to nuke Bruce tried to nuke the Hulk out of him, and doing so made a completely separate entity that's just gamma power, and it basically became like a kaiju movie.
That one I'd watch.
It wasn't even good.
It wasn't. Oh
I did
man,
not give a shit.
that's what I was afraid of. Like all of them started coming up on the play, and then I'm like, okay, they're all out now. Let me see if I can binge it. And as soon as I looked at the thumbnail for the first one, I'm like, I could be playing something. And then I think turned it off and just played something else, or I started playing something.
I feel like I missed one too. Yeah, no. So I'm on the. I saw 4 episodes.
You tell me, man.
There's one where it could have been cool. Did not give a shit. Remember the Russian version of Captain America, Hopper?
Oh, okay,
He was there when Bucky killed Captain America's parents, or Iron Man's parents,
okay.
and
I'm like,
Tony's
what?
parents. And
Okay,
I was like,
that he was there. That's it.
yeah. And then it kind of becomes like some kind of buddy cop thing.
With him and Sebastian Stan's character.
Yeah,
Oh,
stupid.
that's to buff up Thunderbolts that's coming out. Oh my gosh, that's unfortunate.
So I don't know what it leads to. I don't honestly. I could not give a single shit.
Whatever happened that first season was lightning in a bottle, man. I don't know why, but now I'm like, okay. Anyway, okay. That
But
was your number
Arcane
three.
season 2 was nice.
What?
But Arcane season 2 was nice.
Yes, that's your number three. Not what if. Uh, it's gonna be a rehash. Number two for me is the Bear season three. Uh, love the second season, like Brian said. I like and I like seasons that come back and see, oh, how everyone doing, how we've grown, how can they apply it. By the end of season two, they've done a lot of maturing, but this is the season where they started to apply stuff that they've learned and seeing how that shaked out. So I enjoyed watching that a lot. Uh, that's it for my number two. We don't want to keep gushing on the bear here. What is
My
your number two?
my number 2 is Bittersweet.
Hmm?
Um, because the show's over as well, and now with it ending,
Yep.
my number 2 is Tokyo Vice.
Yep.
Boy, I fucking love that show.
Yep. Well, we might as well talk about it. That's not my number one. So we'll just go. We'll just go from your number two to my number one to then your number one. Yeah, I'm with you. Go ahead.
Yeah, great storytelling. Like the cast, the only one I know, the only 2 people I know, lady from Legion and then Hansel, from Baby Driver.
Mm-hmm.
But you get lost in this fucking show, and it's what's crazy is it's from the side. It's primarily following a journalist, but it
An
feels like such
American
a
journalist.
detective
Yeah.
thing, and they do such a good job of world building.
Mm-hmm.
Similar to, but not just dark black and gray, like the Batman movie, but with like Yakuza and all that stuff.
Oh, I
The
see what
way
you
I
mean.
praised the most recent Batman,
Uh huh.
and you just get lost in that shit. The
I'm with you
episodes
on
are
that.
like more premiere length, I guess, bigger budget length, so it's like an hour or so, 45 minutes or so.
Uh huh.
And you get lost in the characters.
And Japan. They do a great shot of shooting Japan in such a way where I'm like, damn, I need to go over there. I need to go just check it. Everything's it's. You can see on film the cultural shift in between every like even him because you're watching an American journalist in Japan, so you're seeing him adapt. Like he's been there for a bit, so he's adapted to their ways, and seeing them like, okay, this is what you're supposed to be doing.
Every character like is believable.
Yeah.
There's not really anyone that you're like, oh, they wrote them for a function. Everybody did their thing for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's decision choices you can think, oh, I can see why they did that, or would I have done the same if I was in that? All it's well thought out.
And yeah, and so like you mentioned, it's the second show of true crime that gets canceled by HBO. The way Perry Mason left, now Tokyo Vice is left, which sucks. I hope someone else picks it up. It was a fantastic show. That was my number one for the year because I really enjoyed Tokyo Vice. I like the way it's shot. I like the the journalists going detective, sort of working with the detectives against corrupt detectives or corrupt. This is like almost everything's bought there by the the yakuza. So I don't know. It was just dope. Definitely enjoyed it. The pacing was just right. It wasn't too slow. It wasn't too like. And when it starts getting to heat up, it'll die down before the episode ends. There's not a lot of like cliffhanger stuff for that reason, which is good because it's like, oh, it builds up in the middle, slows down at the end. You're like, oh shit. Maybe one or two episodes ended with like a cliffhanger, with like someone's life on the line. But I think besides that, it's an easy transition between episodes. Digging it.
Yep.
That was my number one. So
My number
whatever.
one,
Yeah.
and does not. I don't. They could make another season.
Okay.
Do I want them to? No, but if they did, I'm all for it. Ripley.
Ah, Ripley. Okay. Yeah. I
That show, I don't even know how to explain it.
shout
That
out
was
to
another
Andrew.
one where I hit play. I'm like,
I gotta watch all of it. Yeah.
yeah. And what's
Yeah.
funny is that my take on the first episode, it seemed like it was, for most of the show is different from you, where I found it entertaining as opposed to stressful up until a certain point.
Uh huh.
I was like, oh, this is kind of funny. It kind of seems like because you don't realize how calculated he is. So it all seems like he's just kind of
Winging it.
winging it and like kind of fuck. Like it seems like it goes from a comedy to a. He really did it.
He really did. Yeah. Shout out to Andrew Scott. He plays Tom Ripley, and it's him in the '60s getting away with becoming someone else, a wealthy person, so that he can just live his life how he wants to and pretending to be somebody else. And does he get away with it? That's the beauty of it. And watching him just do what he's got to do, it's crazy.
Yeah, the way the way um it's shot. I'm biased towards monochromatic or like black and white stuff. They're like,
Yeah.
what if we did that? You basically grow with the character. So he goes from just being a dude in New York to essentially kind of learning Italian with him.
That's
Like
true.
some words they're saying, and I don't have to look at the subtitles. That also because some of the words are similar to Spanish, but
Yeah, I was like, you're kind of cheating there because you have that
well,
passive in you. So
it was such a and they get lost in the characters. You didn't even realize who the actors are. For example, is it Dakota Fanning that was the
the
artist lady?
yeah,
I didn't even fucking know. I looked it up after like the credits. I'm like, what the hell?
really? That's
Yeah,
what I've done. She looks just like the sister. So I'm like,
she
that's the
looked
Fanning.
familiar. She looks familiar, but I'm like,
I'm
I
bad
didn't, I
with
didn't,
I'm bad with who's who. So I'm like, that's a Fanning. I don't know which one it is though.
I didn't even get that far. I was like, she looks familiar, and I
And
was
then,
like,
and then you're like, I'm locked in. That's cool. You look
mm-hmm.
familiar, but my boy's over here hitting you with maximum riz. All right.
Andrew Scott. Everything I've seen him in, he has not missed yet.
He's
He
been
has aimbot.
fantastic. He has aimbot enabled when he's acting. Shout out to
That was
Andrew
my
Scott.
show of the year.
Okay. Mine was the Tokyo Vice one. All right, that's our favorite 5 TV seasons, TV series, seasons, miniseries, whatever you want to call it. Moving on. The easiest for me was games. Next, not I don't know. What about you? I did my easiest one. So out of what's left, what was your easiest one? Which is movies, album track, and games.
I mean, games and movies are almost equally as easy. Um, we can do games.
All right, we can do games. I'll start off with a recent addition because I became super hooked with this game. Number 5 is Raven's Watch. Uh, like I mentioned, it came out I think in November or something, maybe a little bit before that, or maybe I got my times twisted. But it's the not second game, but the developers of Curse of the Dead Gods. It's their next game. Pastech Games, I think that's what it's called. Uh, Roguelite sort of setup, if you will, but the randomization comes from the way you play, if that makes sense. They give you like what 7, 8 heroes. If like I don't know how many different heroes they already have to date as of this recording. They're adding more in this new year, but I want to say 8
Uh,
because it's 3 up top, 3. 9. I'm gonna go with 9. There's 9 characters,
I feel like you're right with 8. Let me see.
unless I'm counting random on accident. I'm trying to picture the character select screen, but I'm
All right,
pretty sure
what are you confirming?
I'm
I'm counting
confirming
right now.
9 because I remember the random button having a separate row at the bottom.
Final answer?
9, yeah,
Yeah,
it's 9.
yeah.
Some people go outside, I stay outside. So let them know. We starting with Ravens Watch. Each character that we mentioned out of the 9, they play pretty uniquely in their own kind of way. Uh, they were definitely built with co-op, and like some of these characters are built with co-op in mind much more aggressively than others, in my opinion. But they're still viable solo from what I've played so far. Even on the hardest, I think it's not Darkness. It's the one after Darkness. I forgot what it was called.
I can't see.
Yeah, I can't see. Like it's inverted. That's what it is.
Abyssal or something? No.
Is it or Chaos or something? It's the one at the red difficulty after Darkness. Anyway, um, I think I talked about it recently, so I don't have to like gush about it again. But they did a good job with designing the
Nightmare.
characters. It's Nightmare. Thank you. Designing the characters. There's co-op. I haven't really delved deep into that, but just a solo play is fantastic. It's crossplay on all the consoles. So if you do want to try it, crossplay with Switch, PlayStation, Xbox, PC, and you just launch into a match up to 4 people. It sort of feels like you're doing like a MOBA type combat. It's not really like Diablo or Path of Exile type of combat. I relate it more to like MOBA fighting. I don't know if you agree with that because
Um,
there's no like action dodge. It's positioning, and that's what I think MOBAs are, mostly positioning. Like to dodge it, to not get hit, you just should not be in the way.
it reminded me of like somewhere between Diablo and a MOBA.
In between,
Yeah,
okay. That's all I have for it. Ravens Watch. Go check it out.
yeah, maybe more MOBA just because you level up and then here's your shit.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. It's on a run basis. You're doing
I'll
like
call it a Mobablo.
a Mobablo. That sounds like
Yeah.
you're summoning some shit that shouldn't be summoned. So let's keep it moving before my internet cuts out.
Mm.
Not internet. I guess my computer will be shut down because El Demonio got me or something. What's your
Uh,
number 5 for games?
Speaking of late editions, recent editions, the Thaumaturge is my number 5.
Really? I they said it was kind of whatever.
I played through the whole thing. Like once I started playing, I'm like, all right, and then I kind of got invested.
Oh, okay.
It's very janky in the way it looks, and the combat like animations are funny to me. But overall, the story was interesting enough to keep me playing it.
Oh, okay.
Uh, you're kind of a detective, but with extra dark abilities, and then you're in the middle of Poland, in the middle of a brewing revolution.
I see.
While people shit going on, you're finding out shit about people. You can do what you want. You can use it to blackmail people. You can kind of choose more narrative based, while also being like a turn based uh RPG, I guess. But overall, I enjoyed it
Okay.
a lot more than I thought.
I'll check it out. I know you told me to. I might enjoy it because it's like the turn based. It's a good Steam Dink game. So.
A lot of the characters and the writing is funny because there's like a there's like a kid. You're in a certain town and you're trying to essentially figure out what's happening. And there's like a serial killer out in that town.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like a little kid that goes from talking shit about you to helping you, pretending to be like your detective partner.
Oh, okay.
But the way that dynamic works out at the beginning is funny. It's not really something you'd think people would go to.
Is this a prequel to Disco Elysium or something, or it's a joke?
I think
That's a
a
joke.
lot less. Yeah, but I was gonna say a lot less narrative
Dark. Yeah.
freedom than the Elysium.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. We can move right along then. Number 4 for me is Like a Dragon: Infinite Wealth. As if you guys have been listening, all at the beginning of last year, I turned into a JRPG fiend for some reason. Went from Persona 5 Royal to Yakuza Like a Dragon, and now to the latest addition to Like a Dragon series, Infinite Wealth. Takes place after the first Yakuza Like a Dragon. Ichiban finds himself in Hawaii, and we're up to the same antics. There's uh, organized crime at play. There's a bunch of different little mini games you can play. You can sort of play Pokemon with real people. There's an Animal Crossing island. There's so much to do in it, and they still have a very fun, uh, sometimes heavy, sometimes not as heavy story. Uh, Important characters from the first one are back with some additions to the new one. It was just fun to walk. Like the same reason I enjoyed the previous one. It was fun to walk around, the city, little sections of the city of Japan. Now they have it in Hawaii, so you're roaming around on like a little. It's not a scooter, but it's the ones that you like stand and like lean forward and it'll go. What are those called? Or is it a scooter as well? You like stand on it. It looks like it looks like a penis actually, because it's just like the thing you hold and then the wheels on the side. But
I know what you're talking about, but I don't remember the name of it.
yeah, because I don't know what it's called either. Comments are going crazy, but you guys know what we're talking about. You stand on it, lean forward, and it'll move forward with wheels. Like whatever. You'll probably blurt it out later, 40 minutes from now, right? You got it. Anywho, turn-based party, or I guess party-based RPG, I guess if you will. But they have quality of life stuff like auto battle and stuff, so you just gotta build them up, and hopefully they can do it. If not, switch to manual. Like just some boss fights. Well, that's not gonna work. Auto battle did not work for me. You have to like sit there and pick everything and make sure all the synergies are working, if you will. But you can like take out the stuff you grind to level up, like the people walking the streets and stuff. You can like set that to auto battle, so it's fun to just watch them do their silly attacks. Yeah, and I can't wait for the next one. I kind of enjoyed the turn based change. I know some people didn't like that the first time because they like to beat him up, the brawler, and like, yeah, I just want to grab a shelf and hit him in the mouth with it. It's like I get it, but this was a cool alternative. I'm not sure why this pulled me in, but it did. That's number 4. What's your number 4?
My number 4 is a Metaphor Refantasia.
And if I fucking was on my game, I'd probably have that on here too.
Yeah, one of the debates in my head was this or Persona 3 Reloaded. Um, ultimately, ultimate spoilers. That's not on my list. That's
Yeah.
Fave 5. Um, it just came down. This felt original. It wasn't a remake for one, and two, they did. They kind of did what I wanted them to do. Uh,
After the first Persona, just kidding.
yeah, I just like the, and I think older Personas did this where everybody had you could pick a bunch for everybody or something like that. I don't know,
You can
but
pick a bunch. What do you mean?
like how in Persona 5 only Joker can have a bunch of personas and everyone else has like the one.
Yeah,
I think in older Personas I didn't play them.
like one
I
and
think your whole
two.
party could have multiple. Yeah,
Oh, maybe it
but I
became a
don't know.
balancing thing.
This felt good and it reminded me of Dragon Quest because everybody can pick any job, any archetype, and you build by essentially mixing and matching abilities. So they give
Mm,
me the persona, the formula of hey, this day, hey, put up these skills or whatever, grind it out, let's get it, got it the next thing. But they put it in like a medieval world that's pretty interesting.
like a
There's no
Neo
characters.
medieval sort of from what I saw.
Yeah, there's no characters that I hated. Which there's usually that one archetype that they put in every fucking game that's annoying,
The
which
loud
is basically
mouth. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Like the
loudmouth idiot, but he's passionate.
yeah.
Keep that.
They don't have
Um,
they don't have that in this.
they don't have that, and they don't have the annoying fucking pet that talks Morgana. No one liked those two characters.
Oh,
Everybody, I liked everybody. A
okay.
lot more European accents. I'm all for it.
Oh, so you got a little bit of bias there.
Only negative was like the ending
Oh,
of the game, in the sense that it's overstayed its welcome a bit. But everything up until that section that I was complaining about, I enjoyed myself thoroughly.
okay.
The soundtrack's different, and while I do prefer the Persona style of soundtrack, 'cause it's like more neo jazzy. This was an interesting departure from that,
Okay.
like the whole more operatic. Operatic, I don't know if that's a word. More opera take and more like dramatic scoring.
Uh-huh. I mean, I heard the score waiting. I think you went to use the restroom, and I'm like, what is happening over there? And it was just a pause menu.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, holy shit.
I
Um.
enjoyed it.
Okay.
Worth the wait.
I can't wait to start that and then gush about it a year later after It deserved its flowers. Um, I think that's what it did. No, I think it was like multiple years. When did Persona 5 come out? Like 6 years ago?
The original one,
Yeah, not Royale.
it came out on like PS3 or 4.
Jeez. Okay, so yeah,
Persona.
that's how late I'll be to this one.
I'm looking it up now out of curiosity.
All right. Well,
2016.
yeah. So in almost a decade, I'll check this one out.
That's in Japan. In worldwide, it was 2017.
Much better, dude. A year like it's. I thought you were gonna say like 2021 or something. Anyway, all right. My number three to surprise no one who's seen me play Pacific Drive is my number three. I didn't expect this weird roguelike to catch me, but it was enough weird. It's a different roguelike. Like everyone says, oh, art roguelike's different, and then you see the same camera. It's trying to do Hades, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is not. You are first person in a vehicle, a 3D vehicle, trying to make it across literally everything trying to kill you, while scavenging for parts to upgrade your car, to go further on the drive before you have to go back to your garage hub to continue the upgrade and go through the narrative. The narrative is all audio based. You don't see cutscenes for the most part. It's just all performative. And shout out to all three. There's technically 3 or 4 actors, I guess, in it. They all nailed it. They're all believable characters. They all had their style. I guess like you know who was speaking, right? You could tell. I don't know. It was a very, very well done performances. I don't want to spoil anything. Um, that's all I got to do. That's all I got up for number three. Cause I already talked about it. I don't want to like re-review it again, right? Go ahead. What's your number three?
My number three, kind of later than most people were on the train of this, but my number three is Balatro.
Oh snap! I didn't even that didn't even make my list. And it's like a game of the year contender.
I like gambling in games, and I like roguelikes. And I don't know why it took me so long to get into it, but when they combine them,
Yeah,
when I'm not actively doing something, I put my phone
Balatro.
out and I play Balatro.
That what he did releasing it on mobile. He released a curse.
Yep.
I'm with
I
you.
don't have it on I didn't buy it on Steam. I only have it on there. If they had cross progression, I would own it a second time. But that I only need it on my phone.
That's fair.
When
That's
I'm shitting, I'm playing. When I'm literally biking, I'm playing. When I'm laying down trying to fall asleep, I'm playing.
And I think it saves it per round, right? Like if you just hit home or exit out of the game, it saves your run. So
Mm-hmm.
you don't have to worry about like, oh, I got to sit here and try to get an anti 8 and then leave. Like you can just do one thing. You don't even have to do like a whole anti. You just do one of the things
Yep.
and move on.
Yep.
Cool. I'm with you there. That game is fun. I'm not as hooked as most people were. I definitely enjoyed it, and I could see that game being around for quite some time. My number two is Rise of the Ronin. Holy
He has a
crap!
gun, right?
What?
He had a sword and a gun. That's that game.
You can have both. You can have those things.
That's that one. Like the trailer, and out of nowhere, I thought it was gonna be samurais, and he pulled a gun out. That's that game.
I think you're thinking of a different game, but this does. I don't even know. I don't think this game has firearm. I think it does.
It's the PlayStation only one, right?
Yeah, the people who made Neo.
Yeah, it's no. Is it this?
That's who made Rise of the Ronin. It's the
There's a
Neo 2
revolver
people.
in this though, right?
Yes, there's a rifle you can like. There's
It's
revolvers
this
and
game. When
okay.
they announced it out of nowhere, I think they were on a boat, and it looked very samurai-esque. And then he pulled a revolver out, and I was like, and I never played it, but they sold me. If it would have came out that day, I would have bought it.
Well, I mean, you can still when they port it over to PC, I highly recommend you play it.
We'll see.
My complaints of Neo 2 are gone in here. I'm not you rare like there's maybe a couple enemy types that they're just absorbing your hits. Like it feels like actual comp. Like you hit them, they'll take like a hit stun. Like same with you. Like if they get you in a combo, you're gonna take the fucking damage, right? Like the combat feels I think much better because you're fighting humans the entire time. You're not fighting like demon stuff like in Neo 2 and stuff. It's just sometimes 1-on-1, sometimes with like you 1v3, depending like the same type of like arcade combat you would find in like Arkham, where it's like, oh, we have these enemy types, you have to fight a certain way. If you want like to, you don't have to fight that way, but you can. Hey, if you want to end this quickly, you can do it this way, right? But if not, you can a a bunch, just like Neo 2, a bunch of different weapon types with their stances, with unlockable moves. You can customize your moveset like that. Uh, movement in the game, traversing through the open world is fun because it's I think, their first open world. Uh, my nitpick is there's too much empty space. Like, and it makes sense for the period that this takes place in.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of like, oh, the scenery is fantastic, but that's all it is just scenery. Where like the main, like, not that it's missing content. It's just that when you put as many hours as I did to it, I was hooked on this. Like I went around, did all the side stuff. Like once you get to the upteenth hour, you're like, okay, the fun loop is becoming less. I mean, I've just been here for too long, right?
Mm.
It's not really the game's fault because you can always just take a break and come back later, right? But yeah, it's one of those games where if I see it on PC on sale, I'm probably gonna grab it just to play it again because I have it on the PS5 because I think it was a console exclusive. So
Yep.
within the year, I'm assuming the exclusivity is about a year. We might get a PC announcement. Shit, or maybe a Nintendo Switch 2 announcement as well. Um, that's my number two. Brian, what's your number two?
My number two, this shit started as me memeing the name when they announced the game. To I cannot get enough of this. I played it once and it's been in my mind rent free, and it's Mullet Magic.
Oh my gosh! Oh, I have it on my list on here, but I didn't make Fave 5. I just have it on my what did I play list, and I'm like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
that's been on this list.
This
Good
shit,
call out.
they announced it and I just kept repeating the name because it sounded so fucking stupid.
Mullet
But it looks
Magic.
interesting, so I
Uh-huh.
put it on my wish list. And then I played it. If the time flew by, I got credits. I was sweating through my shirt. I didn't even realize it. The soundtrack was basically like a line of coke for my ears. Um,
Yeah,
Everything about it was like an homage and a love letter to that uh aesthetic time period with the like that time period for the genre that it tried to replicate
like
all in one.
the Doom and Quake type of movement and feel.
Yeah, felt good, sounded good,
And looked good.
rated good for me, dude. I love that game, and I was like massively surprised at how refreshing that game was.
Mullet Magic. Okay, I'm with you there.
I will even mention too, when I was chopping down favorite albums, this almost made my favorite five. The soundtrack
The
did.
OSC. Oh, nice. Then okay, yeah, you really did like it then. I didn't even write down that OSC on here.
It was literally written, and it was near the end of yesterday when I was optimizing this. It got cut.
Optimizing. That's fair. I'm
But
with
yeah,
you on that.
Chef's Kiss, man.
It's definitely a one. Like I think I did it in one sitting and put
Same.
it up on the channel. After when you told me I could do it in one sitting, that's why I'm like, all right, if I can do it in one sitting, I'm just gonna focus on it. My number one, which should come to surprise, nobody should be surprised, is the one, the only Helldivers 2. If you haven't played it, please go play it. If you can play it with a group of friends, even better. But you can definitely, it is fun to just jump into a random lobby and try to help out random people. As I ended up doing that because once I got to certain levels where I'm like, you need a squad to finish these difficulty levels. I just started going back to like easier difficulties, like 1, 2, 3, and then just joining into random ones to see if anybody needed help and stuff. And that's just fun because then you'll surprise them with stuff that like, oh, I can unlock that later, and then they're like, fuck yeah, like it's just fun. It's just the stories you like. What is it? I don't know who said it, but one of the freaking press conferences where it's like, in our game, you make the story, and that's pretty much a lot of the runs in Helldivers because it's relentless attacks from bugs, robots, aliens, and you and your boy just trying to do the objective while killing stuff and get the heck out of Dodge, right? For
Mm.
democracy. The music, I mean, there's everybody knows I'm in love with that drop down music. I'm not sure what the and then you just hear every time you start a mission, it does a good job of trying to get you in the zone, right? It's definitely worth playing. Oh, and shout out to them elevating the bar and how season passes should be done. Someone finally took the bullet and showed them how it's supposed to be done. There is no, hey, use this season pass, and then later on, when the time ends, you can't use this anymore. Once it's in the game, you can buy it whenever you want. That's how a season pass should be done.
Technically, it was done before them, but
Oh, my bad. Who did it?
Halo, Halo
Infinite?
Infinite.
Oh, shout out to Halo Infinite, and God bless you. I don't know what state you're in at the moment, but Helldivers is kicking, so go play Helldivers instead. Uh, that was it. That was my number one. What's your number one?
My number one in this game has stayed up there since the beginning of the year. This fucking Unicorn Overlord.
Oh, dang! I never finished it, but I'm with you on that. That was fun.
That game, let me tell you something. Any chance I had free time, I could not wait to play this. I didn't give a fuck what was happening. If I was on fire, I'm on fire and I'm playing some Unicorn
I
Overlord,
see.
dude.
You connect the controller to it so you don't overheat the system, so you can keep playing. I got you.
Nice shit.
Okay.
Uh, Someone who likes strategy RPGs, someone who loves Fire Emblem, is one of my favorite series, probably of all time. This did like a new spin on it that it makes tactics like a tactics approach with the same way that Fire Emblem exists, and they just did it. And in auto battlers to an extent, they put that in there, and it just made a fucking combination of games that was very hard to stop playing.
I'm with you there. I think you nailed it. It's an auto battler with like you said, Fire Emblem and the tactics.
When it comes to synergy and building your
Your
squads,
units, yeah, man.
getting backstory for the characters, even traversing and just doing battles that putting the gear on, thinking of how you're going to build each character. So much to think about, so much like theory crafting on top of me liking things like Fire Emblem that I'm just like, I don't know. They nailed it, and I'm sad that they didn't plan DLC. I'm sad they didn't realize they were in their bag when they made this.
Uh-huh.
Shout out to the company that makes this. Hopefully, their next game is as enjoyable as this.
We didn't do honorable mentions for TV shows, so we're not doing it now technically. But I am. I'm going to mention a game. I completely forgot to write down a game that I played this year, and it would have made my Fave 5, but I already locked it in, and it's Cat Quest 3. I
Mm,
played the first because this year the third one came out, but on Switch the first two and the third one came bundled in one as a one package. So I'm like, bet all on one Switch cartridge. You don't have to fucking download anything. Bet. Played the first one. It was single player. Loved it. Second player played with Janiana co-op. Loved it. And then the third was the same. We started playing through it. We haven't finished the third one, but it's more of the same awesomeness. It's cute. It's got some enough action RPG elements there to have you experiment with builds. Uh, the writing's it's built to be fun. They're trying to get to the punchline. Like it's puns. It's trying to be silly, lighthearted, memorable characters. It's fantastic. But that did not that I might have knocked Raven's Watch off of that. I don't know.
mm.
But that's
Well,
it didn't make it, but shout out to Cat Quest. Anywho. Um I'm assuming movies is next because music was the hardest for me and music was the hardest for you.
yep.
Cool. Movies. Fave 5. Number 5. Rebel Ridge for me. Uh, I wasn't expecting much from Rebel Ridge because that sounds terrible to say. I didn't know anything about it. I was just one of those that was catching a trend and was like, oh, yeah, it's pretty dope. So I'm like, all right, I'll just give it a shot. I didn't know anything about it beforehand. I went in blind and thoroughly loved it. It's low key. It's not a big budget thing. I'm sure it was a blast to film. There's some action sequences, but like there's some shootouts and or like sequences where I'm like, okay, I see what you guys were doing here. The acting was fine, right? Like it wasn't out of this world, but I'm like everybody was believable. It was not suspense. It was like it's
Thriller.
thriller. Yeah, it's like I don't want to say it's intense because it's not like a lot of yeah like people yelling and shit. It's just like uh what is tension. There's a very
Tense.
it's a very tense movie. And and they build tension and it disarms tension. It messes with tension in such a easy way where you don't even see it's happening, right? You just feel that it's happening due to the subtext, if you will. Uh, that's it. That's my number 5.
My number five, Deadpool and Wolverine. I didn't
That's
care
your
too much.
5.
Remember, limited selection.
Okay.
Um, I like it. Coming off of me basically shitting on Marvel. Deadpool is one of my favorite characters in the Marvel universe. getting a sequel that feels like there's actually love put behind it, just like the first two Deadpools.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Doing some Hugh Jackman. I enjoyed myself. Good time.
Throw in some Hugh Jackman. Okay, I'm with you there. Number 4 for me is Late Night with the Devil. Uh, I'm not a huge horror fan. I don't look forward to seeing horror movies. It's just like I'm waiting for the jump scare. I've seen too many horror movie tropes to be excited to see horror movies. If that makes sense,
Mm-hmm.
that's what they depend on. But some, or I guess most. Anyway, Late Night with the Devil had like a weird take on it, where it's like it feels like you were an audience member watching this show go to shit, if you will. Sometimes more disturbing than others, but some of them are like, "What the heck's happening here?" Uh, so I guess I don't know if Late Night with the Devil would be a horror movie, but suspense thriller, whatever you want to call it. I guess I don't want to. I could just look it up to see what it's under or classified as.
It says porn.
That would be crazy. And I'm like, oh, never mind. I'm just recommending. Oh, it's horror. Straight. There's no slash this. It just says horror. Anywho, shout out to I don't know his last name, David Dasmalchian. Apologize for that pronunciation. Uh, it was a good time. I don't even know if if it was too lengthy. I think it was just the right amount of time. It didn't overstay its welcome. I wanted to see what the next segment was to see how if it goes to shit, how does it go to shit? What is happening on here? Like definitely a horror movie to go watch. Uh, that's my number 4. I don't know why I slapped my chest like that. Brian, what's your number 4?
My number 4 is Wolves.
Oh, the Brad Pitt
The
and
George Clooney,
mm-hmm.
Brad Pitt. They clean up, no questions asked.
Yeah.
Uh, just a really good time. Self-contained, doesn't need a sequel. Could get a sequel if they wanted to spin the story that way. Um, just a good time.
It's this year's Nice Guys for me. Like I love a good buddy cop movie, and this is a buddy like in the style of a not style. Since you've seen these guys in Ocean's series banter, this was an easy. This is gonna be fine. I knew the dialogue was gonna be fine, and it's
Mm-hmm.
the same with the performances and the chemistry between them. I knew that's gonna be cool. The plot was
Small
fine.
cast
Yeah,
too. The plot was simple, but like like Anthony said, the riffs and the chemistry on set, like as their characters, it literally carried it.
yeah. I can watch them bicker for another hour or whatever change. Right.
Yeah, it didn't overstay its welcome. Very interesting. Not while the story was simple, it wasn't always like a predict what's next kind of thing.
Because
Like
the
it was just simple enough. It's easy to follow. It was just different enough that you're not like, oh, this is gonna happen. See, I told you. Like they hit this sweet spot and then just happen to put two friends as the two
as
main
it
characters.
leads, yeah, I'm with you there. Good call. Uh, Number 3 for me is the Wild Robot. I think we've talked about it enough recently by the end of the year because I think I saw it at near the end of the year, and then you ended up watching it during Thanksgiving.
Thanks, yeah.
Anywho, very warm movie. Robot gets lost in an island and tries to be helpful in any way, but all the robot has is the wilderness and animals. So it's like, how do you mix one and two together? Well, watch the Wild Robot and you'll see. Uh, yeah, that's my number 3. What you got for 3?
My number 3 is Rebel Ridge.
Oh shoot, okay.
Um, Good movie. Very topical. Uh, small cast, another one, but with the exception of one decision in the movie, everybody wasn't no. There's no dumbass.
Mm-hmm.
Like everything seems like something someone actually like would do. Everyone kind of melted into their character. Um, and overall, like I could through disgust or through like a, as an audience member wanting to see the redemption or like the revenge, you're kind of glued to the screen.
I see you. I'm with you there. Yeah, I got it. You got to see how this pays off. This has to pay off. Is what you're watching the entire time. Like, oh, what? There has to be a payoff.
Yeah, like there's no way they get away with this shit.
Yeah,
And then you're You're immediately with such a simple setup, you're already behind your protagonist.
Yeah, from like 5 minutes in, not even. You're like, oh no,
Yeah,
fuck everyone who goes up against this guy.
they JoJo'd it.
Yeah. Oh man. Uh, that was your three. Okay, so my second is Deadpool and Wolverine. Uh, more of the same with the added twist of nostalgia because who's playing Wolverine, plus who they bring on as guest characters. It is a very me nostalgia because this is when we were growing up. We saw the people who came up on screen. So seeing them again, and then they like, let's hit them with one more gut punch, and gave us a crazy compilation at the end of Fox's stuff, and I'm like, ah, damn, bruh. That was a different time. It hit a nostalgic point there, so that's why it's so high up. I've already seen it like 2 or 3 times. Comedy's good, action is good. If you don't like cutting or a lot of gore, this has a lot of it because Wolverine cuts. So like, that's the only disclaimer, I guess. If you're not into a lot of gory stuff, Deadpool usually gets a little gory or cartoony, like he breaks his bone and stuff, but not like
He gets gory.
maybe with bullet.
He
I don't
shoots
know.
people
Sometimes he'll put the
and he has
stat like
swords.
you're right. I don't know, but this one seemed like it was more than the previous season. So I don't know. It's a good warning just in case. That's my number two. What's your number two?
My number two, The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare.
Oh snap! Okay, the Guy
I'll tell
Ritchie
you another.
film.
Yeah, Guy Ritchie. He
He's
quick plots and then he gets you with charm.
yep.
His cast is always charming, and you immediately like I want to see them go off in a stylish way, and he nails it every time.
Mm-hmm.
He keeps throwing in Europeans as well, and as you guys know, you throw in some accents. I'm on
You
board.
you're there.
I didn't know it was based off a true story. I didn't know much about this. I knew Henry Cavill was in a movie, and us for the Henry Cavalry, so
Mm-hmm.
naturally I'm like I'm all in, Jack, and it delivered. It gave me a Man from Uncle kind of vibe. I enjoyed myself from beginning to end. Kind of like Man from Uncle meets Inglorious Bastards. Somewhere in the middle is what this felt like.
Okay.
But
I
I enjoyed myself thoroughly.
sick. That was a really fun movie.
Yep.
Yeah, Guy Ritchie's one of those where I'm like, Guy Ritchie's making a new film there. I don't have to see who it is. I'm like, what is Guy Ritchie's new film? All right, I'm gonna go check it out. That's just favoritism, I guess. Last but not least, this should be obvious as well. Dune 2. I loved the first one. This one here, again, the payoff of the setup of the first. This is the payoff of all the setup in the first one with the kid, the Paul Atreides. Now in the second one, he starts becoming the big badass he wanted to be. Right? Spoilers, I guess, if you haven't seen it, but it's his journey to becoming what
A
he's
man.
yeah, not a man. It's to be the prophecy that everyone thinks he is. And this is like, oh, well, is that a good thing that we wanted? By the end of the movie, you're like, is this good? And you don't know. And that's where I guess the third movie will come in. But we'll see. It was a good time. Absolutely amazing action sequences. Uh, Shout out to Javier Bardem just being the charmer he is, bruh. Being really funny, being very fantastic in his role. That's all I got. Brian, what's your number one?
Spoilers, that movie's missing from my list because I haven't actually seen the entire thing.
Spoilers?
Yeah, yeah, again, limited. That is not my number one, and it's not because of dislike or anything, it's because I did not watch it
That happens.
into its entirety.
Hmm.
My number one, and it's already been mentioned, Late Night with the Devil.
Oh, okay.
That movie, from the second they played, there's so many things that they didn't have to do with that movie, but because they did, it sets you up in as a trap to not look away from the screen. So when it starts and they give you the backstory of who
The
is
host.
essentially the main character, the
Hmm.
host, you didn't need to do that, but because you did, now it sets it up as a timepiece in this section. It's like this is what happened, and then once the little preamble stop or is done,
Hmm.
and you're in it, you feel like you know the guy, and with what it's trying to be, which is like a late night show.
And you know what the stakes are
Yeah,
immediately.
you know shit goes wrong, and you know the guy, and it feels like you've seen him before, which is late night. Like like you essentially familiar with him. Like he's a face you see every night or
Hmm.
something because they decided to give you that backstory.
Hmm.
They do a good job pacing. They do a good job of you are an audience member until it goes black and white, and you're seeing the behind the scenes that it feels like you're not supposed to see. It's showing you like the puppet hands that you wouldn't normally see in late night in a way that feeds into the horror part of it. Uh, Shout out to the actors, small cast, but I felt uncomfortable the entire time, but I could not stop looking, and it pays off. I don't remember her name, but the little girl in the movie.
Yeah, dude.
I don't want to see her by my door. I don't want to see her ever
Not
again
even, not
because
the actress. Yeah,
yeah,
I'll never shake her hand. I'm kidding. Like, I know what you
great
did.
performance. Don't approach me. But
Yeah,
great performance.
so much so I can't let you 10 feet
Mm-hmm.
near me.
Yeah,
Cool, cool, cool. I'm with you on that. It definitely caught me by surprise.
I'm also not a big horror person. I thought, but apparently everything that looks interesting to me now is just
It's horror
horrible.
movies, so I think you are into the horror movies. Um, that leaves the last two: music album and music track. I think we start with track. What do you think?
It's up to you, brother.
Yeah, I think we can go with track. Um, yeah, we should go with track. I'll start with my fifth one. Fifth one is "Routines in the Night" by 21 Pilots. This is not a DJX joke. This is why the DJX joke started. I listened to their album last year a few times. So anytime I did the DJX, it's like we're gonna start with 21 Pilots. By the end of the segment, it's 21 Pilots again, and he'll just keep saying 21 Pilots, and it was just ridiculous. Uh, yeah, I don't know. It was just I'm digging the song. These are all gonna be songs. I'm not gonna get too deep into why I like it, but these are songs you need to check out. Routines in the Night by 21 Pilots. Brian.
My number 5 is Vic Tony Tiny Apartment featuring
Ooh,
St. John. It hits. It was unexpected. It's Nigerian kind of Afro art, and kind of he is a Nigerian Afro artist with an R&B singer. And it's like a very nostalgic 2000s, maybe early 90s kind of instrumental, and it works for me. Very loopable, very drivable. You can drive to this and loop it.
I see. I'm with you. Uh, Number four for me is Saturn by SZA. Came out really early in the year, so which is why we were all so freaking hyped for her new album to come out because she teased us with that like really early on in the year, I think. And we were waiting until we got the deluxe version with the new album in it. Something's up there. I don't know. I'm not sure what it is. I'm not a music label person. I don't know what happened, but I'm sure she was supposed to release it, and then maybe something happened. Don't know anything about it. Can't speak on it. But Saturn, excellent. From the beginning of the year, I'm like, okay, she's on something different now. Like she's bringing something else, and loved it. Right, you're up. Number four.
Number 4, Lucky Day Soft. This song
Mm-hmm.
has a good mix of like more of the churchy sounding R&B vocal with some funk and some groove to it, and it's a very dynamic song. Whenever I was testing stuff at work or here or anything audio related, this was my test song
Oh,
because of the
damn.
range. If I'm like, okay, how does it sound with this kind of bit? And I go to a section of the song to test certain things or test this section. Oh, let me see. I want to see how vocals translate on the speaker. I go to a certain section where there's not too much instrumental, and he's singing.
Oh, okay. So there's some pieces in here.
Yep, goes off. Shout out to Lucky Day. I love this song.
All
0 to
right.
10.
All right. My number three is shout out to you, Brian. It's My Guys by you yourself. I heard that so many times throughout the year. Uh, that's all I got to say. It was hype. I enjoyed that you went with the European vocal person because I'm like, that's on you. Everything had you on brand, and you nailed it. That is my number three.
Some of my favorite songs ever made, actually.
I'm,
I threw the voice on jokingly,
well,
and then I just kept
the
doing
joke's
the
on you,
bit.
I guess.
I kept doing the bit, and I'm like, no, I think I like this.
Yeah, the joke's on you.
um, that's 3.
That's number three, yes.
Number 3, Meta Through the Night. Shout out to Free Nationals. They didn't release an album that I know of, but the 2 songs that I heard they produced,
Gangsta, man.
Chef's Kiss,
Mm-hmm.
Maida, I've been championing her for years now at this point, and then this is a single that actually feels like brought her to the where I believe she should be. Like
Mm-hmm.
this song blew the fuck up,
Okay.
and well deserved because she's a talented singer. I think she writes her own stuff. I don't care. She sounds amazing. Uh, this song's loopable as well.
I shot.
People like the older sounding R&B ish.
Mm-hmm.
That's
But
all I gotta say.
also shout out to her project too. The one where she's like on that gold circular
Endless
thing,
night.
Endless Night. I thought that was just a. I don't know that was a. I know that's a track title. I don't know that was the album title. As
Yeah.
well.
Boat.
Okay, I'm with you on that. Um, Number 2 for me. Again, I'll get this wrong because it's I think French, but L'amour de ma vie by Billie Eilish. This is where me and you split. You say Birds of the Feather is the best. This to me is miles ahead of that. But again, to each their own. Uh, yeah, Birds of the Feather was a very catchy one, but then there's some catchy songs that slowly fade out for me.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just one of them where I don't dislike the song. It's just like when I hear that, I'm reminded, oh, this song exists and I can hear this. If that makes sense. Very similar to like I don't have an example actually right now. I'll think about it. That's my number 2. Is it L'amour? L
L'amour.
L'amour de ma vie. The way I'm saying it, you can just look at the track list and be like, it has to be this one he's trying to pronounce,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like you can
It's
figure
the
it out.
French one.
Yeah, I think it has a good arc. It has the sadness, the inspiration, like or not the inspiration, but like the climax point. Like okay, so this is the change, and then there's a party in the back. It started off with business in the front, and then party in the back. I can't believe I'm saying that. What's your number 2?
My number 2 is Billie Eilish, Birds of a Feather.
Oh shit!
That
The duos knock it out, or
let me
the
tell you
Titans fight it
something.
out.
When that fucking song came on, when I was listening to the album,
Yeah,
the second I heard it, I'm like, this is the single.
this is a single. Boom,
And then
boom, boom,
shortly
boom.
after, it was performed at the Olympics.
Yeah,
All I'm saying,
blew up, man.
the instrumentation is very simple,
Yep.
but when Billy sings on this song specifically, and it hits, simple writing, but it hits. I don't even know that shit. The amount of times I've heard this song, you don't even know, dude. And then she performed it on her tiny desk. I prefer the recorded version, but even then,
It was still good.
very close.
Oh, okay.
Her tiny desk is very accurate to what you hear on.
How many people did they have? I have to watch. I haven't seen it. How many people did she have arranged in the back to make
I
this?
don't remember. I
Oh,
know Phineas is there. I don't remember who else.
okay. I don't know if it was all like digital and she just sang over it, or they actually had the peeps like she arranged something to make the song.
I don't remember if she has backup singers. I think it was her, Phineas, and maybe some instrumentation.
Okay, sick.
But yeah, easily when I heard that trumps the rest of the album, and I liked the album.
Mhm.
But that song hit.
All right, alrighty. My number 1 track was the most difficult thing. Stuff jumped from not on my list to number 1 to not to 1 to back down out of my list to further. The music one was a nightmare this year.
I thought you were trying to be smart with it, and you said things jumped. I was like,
It's
"There's no
not
stuff."
jumping in.
Okay.
It's not jumping in. If I was gonna put a Kenny, what's it called? I think what Angel Eyes was. I had more stuff in it. Where jumping in was like more hype to me. I think Angel Eyes or Been Having or no, what's the third one in that latest album? Relief was a good one too, and I'm like, damn, okay. That's why I like that second album he dropped because I'm like, there was more emotion in it. Uh, but no, sorry, I didn't even tell you what the first one is. The first one is Witchy, with K Tronado featuring Childish Gambino. Childish Gambino had a crazy year for me, with a lot of singles that he was in. Like he had like good features, and then he dropped his album. But that's for another day. But Witchy, when I heard that when it came on during K Tornado's album listen, I'm like, what the hell is happening here? It was fucking. I'm gonna use the same term again, lightning in the bottle again. Like I can listen to that song on repeat all the time. That's it. What's your number 1?
My number 1 has already been mentioned. It's SZA Saturn's.
Oh, okay. I'm like, what? I'm like, you don't listen to 21 Pilots. I forgot I put Saturn on there.
Yeah, that shit looped the most out of the year. I mean, without it's a vibe, and it's basically as a creative and then as kind of like a more pessimistic person, this shit's like an anthem. So
Wait, and you didn't listen to the deluxe to hear the new album, right?
no, I didn't like the way she did it, so I didn't even bother.
So you're waiting until it comes out on its own?
Maybe, or I'll just listen to the last half if I'm like nothing out, and then I'll just.
I am so envious because when I listen to the new stuff, I'm like, this is worth the wait. Like, there's a lot of good tracks on that because it's the first half. Like, it's deluxe, but the first half is the new stuff. So if you hit play, you just hear new things. You're like, what the hell? And then you go to SOS last year, and you'd be like, oh, okay, here's everything else.
Mm.
So it's literally here's a new album, and oh by the way, we found a loophole. Here's the old album deluxe. All right, see you later. But when it comes out on its own, bro, it's track after there's a section on my likes. It's just track after track. She's just doing a great job. So I guess preview for this year if you haven't heard the album when it comes out on its own.
Honorable mention. Shout out fucking
Who?
Hijack. And
The example I just told you about, it went from the top number one to like it's not even on my list. Hijack was one of them. So
that's what.
was Hot One, the Denzel
Okay.
Curry, and so was look at my list here. Band for Band with Central C.
There was like 5 songs that were tied for fifth. It was the Victoni album, the song that actually made it on there.
Oh, so it was Gangsta.
Hijack, um, the Young Miko song, which was an interlude in La Peachy, didn't
Mm-hmm.
make it, but great song. Um, what else was it? I don't remember what I just named. There was plenty of songs.
Okay.
Why You Can't, Omar Apollo, and I think there was something else, but
Oh, like Three Boys. Didn't you like Three Boys from Omar Apollo? That was last year, wasn't it?
I think it was the year before.
Oh, am I tripping? Oh, my fault. I thought that was last year.
No, I think it was the year before.
Okay. I think that's our five. We're music tracks. Sorry, now we're doing albums. My number five, I put you on there out of respect, and also I liked a lot of the tracks you put on there. And I did listen to a lot of them because I listen to my stuff on shuffle. So when your stuff comes on, I just leave it on. That's my number five. Is your stuff?
Number 5. It's funny you made it on fifth. Both fucking lists. Is Victoni's album "Stubborn."
Okay.
I was in my Nigerian bag last year.
Oh, that's
Uh,
true. That's true.
There's what 4 or 5 Nigerian artists I listened to the album. Liked all of them.
It was like almost
But
every other week. You're like, I got new music, and there's night, and it was like, yeah, so it's another Nigerian.
yeah, I think Tidal's slowly learning me, even though Tidal sucks. um,
Shout out to Ty.
the UI, they're like, what is that? UX? What is that? I'm like SUX. Fucking sucks.
Okay, I thought you were trying to do something like provocative there, but I got it now.
Out of the Nigerian albums that I heard, this one is a little more varying in production and like more R&B like. So I liked it
Okay,
the most.
okay. We can keep it moving then. Number four is "Short and Sweet" by Sabrina Carpenter. Like it said, it's a short and sweet album. A lot of easily pick a lot of these could be singles in one album if that makes sense. Like very catchy pop music. Uh, I don't know what I don't know. It's deep and not deep. Sorry, short and sweet. Pop tracks all combined into like one nice little 10 tracks? No, 12 tracks.
Nice little donut.
Yeah, a donut, and inside
Just
that
short and
donut,
sweet.
it's another donut. That's not it. I put short and sweet on the internet, and
Porn.
no racehorse profiles came up, and I'm like, what? How's that?
Yeah, when I was a horse, that was my race name.
Yeah, I'm like, what the hell does that mean? Anyway, where do I find the tracks here? There's a track list. It's only never mind. Well, the standard edition's 12 tracks, but a lot of very catchy music and or relatable writing. So she knocked it out of the park with this project. For me, number four is that. What is your number four?
My number 4, kind of a late edition technically. Kendrick Lamar GNX.
Oh,
I looked back to see how many songs I liked from it.
a lot.
I think there's only 2 that I didn't heart.
Which is the first one? Whacked out
Uh,
murals.
no, I liked. I didn't end up
Oh,
unliking that one.
okay.
It was Luther and another song. I don't remember what the other one was.
That's such blasphemy to me.
I, what's weird is think I'm slowly, even though we're born in New York, I think I'm slowly enjoying
West Coast stuff more.
Yeah, I don't really listen to like rap as often. I listen to more R&B or
Alternative.
like alternative.
Mhm.
But when it comes to rap, I
You,
think I'd
you're on
slowly
West Side.
starting to have a West Side bias. Yeah, which is crazy. I never thought.
I mean, we all saw it coming. Anyone, especially anyone who's been listening or watching. I mean, in the dark, like you've been with YG for who knows how long. Same with
Hmm.
Schoolboy Q. You don't like Absol.
I like Absol, but I have to be in like a mood to listen to Absol.
Okay. You like
Vince is
Doechii.
one of my
Vince
favorites.
Staples is another one.
Hmm.
I think Dochi's West Coast, or maybe not.
She's TDE. I don't remember where she's from, but I know
Gotcha.
she's TDE.
A lot of the West Coast people I hear from you, and I'm like, okay, they're bumping over there. So I'm with
It's
you on
funny.
that.
I more often look for their stuff than actually East Coast, I think, which is funny. I didn't realize
But
until now I said it out loud.
when they're performing the way that they are, like they West Coast had quite the year, so it's not surprising that they've been
Yeah,
on a streak. So
it was the year of West Coast movement, if anything.
facts.
Um, yeah, I liked it, which is funny because I don't think I listened to Big Step, Mr. Moore and the Big Steppers.
Yeah.
I think the only song I heard was the one Kodak, but I
From that
listened to.
entire album, that's the only one you heard.
I think that I can remember.
So you didn't hear Rich Spirit or N95.
I don't think so.
Oh, you haven't heard me play it randomly. Oh my gosh, you're mixing some fun tracks on there.
But this it was right up it was up my alley of things I like.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah, also not hearing any of. I guess you played one of the diss tracks, and then I heard only his diss verse in um Kendrick.
But which,
Euphoria. You played Euphoria the
yeah,
other day.
that's just my personal favorite during throughout the beef. Like, not like us is a
Actually,
cool. I mean, not like us was like the last nail in the coffin, but
I guess I heard
before
two.
that came out, Euphoria, I'm like, damn, man, there's no way you're gonna beat this.
I missed the whole beef thing. Not that I didn't know it was happening. I just didn't tune in.
Yeah.
And those are the two songs I heard. So I basically was like the part that everybody was excited about. I was glossed over. I'm like, oh, Kendrick album. And then I'm like,
And you were still satisfied.
yeah.
I'm with you. For my number three, which I'm sure it's on your list, it's Four Bats. You Made Me a Star. Holy shit! What an I said it when we reviewed it, and I'll say it again. It would have been perfect without that last track with Mr. Ye in it. It was fully him, just him on this album, I think, and it was nice for a debut. He was killed it, in my opinion. And then why did he get need? He did not need that feature. That's how good he was doing on TikTok. That's how he blew up, and then he started making like he did not need that. But well, no, that's just me being a naysayer or negative, I guess. But yeah, Four Bats for number three. Brian, what's your
My
number
number
three?
three is McGee, 2 star in the Dream Police. Early, early listen, very abstract. I look back at how many songs I liked. There was nothing that was not hearted.
Oh,
Everything was
you.
hearted on this album.
Oh, nice. So that
It
how's that not number one then?
well, because there's other things. Why I hearted everything. There's
So
pieces that they had more oomph.
okay.
Um, yeah. The only nitpick I have is sometimes it gets a little too abstract and you can't really tell what the fuck he's saying.
Okay.
But as like, it's definitely like a kind of like a Tame Impala's The Slow Rush that turns 5 in February. That album.
Are
Um,
they releasing like a special thing for that or no?
if they are, I'm getting it probably.
Okay.
You hit play and you kind of get lost in like a. Uh, do you know what, like Americana music is, where it's like primarily like a singer and then just kind of like a guitar? It's like that, but
Okay.
then more trippy, like ambienty. But then he does slight experimentation on top of that with each song, and I don't know. That was another one of his songs was also tied for fifth. Riley and I,
Okay.
but I enjoyed it.
I'm with you. I'm with you. I need to do what you did and make like a list somewhere where I can remember to do my homework for music. Um, Number two, you just spoke on it. Kendrick's GNX. I didn't. I was waiting for an album during the beef with Drake, and then as that started to dissolve, I'm like, I guess he's just not gonna. He just ended it and moved on. So hearing a new body of work coming off of Not Like Us, and I'm like, oh no, he's gonna keep that same energy, and he put a bunch of bounce into this album. Like, there's so many tracks where you cannot stop dancing, you cannot stop moving.
A lot of quotables too.
Yeah, a lot of quotable shit everywhere. Like this will be like I don't want to reference the this, but a classic. You don't have one. Like he just dropped one. Like when you think Kendrick, you can remember all of these, not all of them. a good amount of the quotable stuff in this song or in this album. Like, great job. That's all I can say. Like, I had a good job. I had a good time with that album. That's my number two. What's your number two?
My number two, Four Bats. You made me a star.
Oh, we're interchanging over here.
Yeah, I'm more R&B centric as I mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
This scratched the itch of like Brent Fires adjacent. No Baby Keem album, no Brent Fires album. He dropped this very refreshing. Not what I expected the album to be. Off of that one song that became the two
The
singles.
two singles, yeah.
I did not think he was gonna hit us with some of this stuff, and he did. And I'm like, same
He,
thing you said though. I didn't need Kanye.
yeah, man. I think it
Good on
would have
him for
been,
not putting the Drake remix, but bad on him for keeping the Kanye one.
yeah, man. Like, just his stuff was solid enough, man. He didn't need a remix on any of it. Like when I
If
first
he
heard the
really wanted the
two,
remix,
uh
dude,
huh,
he could just put it by itself, like the
yeah,
Drake one.
yeah. Like that could have been separate, bro. This is your like your project. This is your first go, and you had the chance to just do all like you were just a vocal artist on it. That would have been crazy. That's just me. Uh, yeah, it was quite the surprise because like you, I heard the first two. I heard the first one on TikTok. I'm like, oh, he's out here. And then I looked him up. I'm like, oh, he doesn't have music. This is his first go. Then he released the second one, the second single, and I'm like, okay, there's consistency here. And then the album
Hmm.
dropped, and I'm like, oh, he had this planned. This is a cohesive. Like this is all thought about. Anyway, shout out to Four Bats. Anything else, or should I go to the number one?
Not chef's kiss.
Well, it mirrors my music track. So number one for me is "Timeless" by K Tronada. It's just a lot of music, a lot of back to back tracks. It just makes you want to move. It makes you want to stunt. It makes you like he has a good variety of vocalists on there that have different vibes with like Maria the Scientist, Chanel Tress with his
I think it's Mariah.
seductive. Oh, Mariah the Scientist. I'm sorry. Uh, Pink Panthers in there with the Snap My Fingers. Like I mentioned, my favorite track, Childish Gambino and Witchy. Like he worked with so many different people, but everything sounds like a good like from beginning to end. You're like, oh, you're at a party, bro, and everyone's just going off. I don't know. It was I was not expecting a K Tronada like not that's I don't want to sound disrespectful. I was not expecting K Tronada to be my top of the year, but he knocked it out of the park. Uh, that's my number one. Brian, what's your number one?
So that's not my number one, but salute K Tronada.
Mm-hmm.
My number one was entirely produced by him, and that's Maida's EP Endless Night.
Oh, nice, nice, nice. Short and
K
sweet too.
Tronada, everybody knows I have strong bias towards him. Back back when I SoundCloud days, him, Sango, what's his name with the Future Beats show,
People in
Complexion,
selection, yeah,
just Selection itself. Those things when I started SoundCloud, very impactful, very influential.
yeah,
And Sango, I still listen to. He had a decent album this year, but then K Tronada, still very high up there. His Coachella set, I was basically there. I think it was last year's or the year before, two
yeah. I
years
was
ago.
because the weekend was there, wasn't he? Or no,
Yeah,
no.
with
He has Swedish House
Metro Boomin.
Mafia. Wait, I'm tripping. At Coachella, it was Swedish House Mafia with the weekend doing the Coachella, right? Or am I tripping? Or am I
He showed
mixing
up
that up?
for them, but he also was a part of Metro Boomin's.
His set, and he came out
Mhm.
for okay. I know because he came out for
um,
the the cover he did for Metro's album.
don't
And I
feature in it.
wanna know
He
if
came
you
out for that, and then
play me. Yeah.
he did the debut of the song with Future.
Okay. Cool.
Um, yeah, so I'm biased on that, and then Maida, who I've been saying I've listened to her for years now. I'm like, more people need to hear her. And then they decided, what if Brian needed something? And then they Wonder Twin Power activated, and they got this. It has good grooves, even the more like less groovy R&B song. Kitchen ought to hit that. It's not that he sounds the same when he produces,
Oh, okay.
because
I'm like,
it's like the techniques he uses. So he has a range of instrumentals he can make.
mm-hmm.
But like Pharrell, when you hit he doesn't have like a tag that I can think of, but Pharrell, when you hear minimal instrumentation, think happy, think all that. Minimal instrumentation, a bunch of space, and it's kind of poppy. That's how you can tell Pharrell Timbaland. If when the drums hit, you shit yourself, it's Timbaland.
Yep.
Um,
You shit yourself.
with Q-Tip or Kanye, it's very sample focused. With K Tronada, it's the way that he sidechains things, so everything kind of pumps. So
Mm-hmm.
like it has like a groove in itself, and the drums are also pretty big. That's how you know it's him. You
Definitely
combine
big.
good voice with fucking slapping,
Slapping
interesting,
bass.
creative instrumentation. You get this chef's kiss.
Mm-hmm. I'm with you there. And then yeah, same with Maida. What I also liked about that one was it was short. It would never say is welcome. Like I wanted more, which is good. So I'm assuming she's gonna work on an album, maybe release it. So anyway,
Maybe.
that is it. That is our favorite music album, and that concludes that's all of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
I believe so. Well, there you guys have it. Comment below if we're crazy, if you agree with most of it, some of it. Share it with your friends. Uh, that is all we got. We do releases this week, and we'll wrap up here. For games, we got, like you mentioned, Dynasty Warriors Origins reviewing really well. So might have to check that out. Donkey Kong Country Returns HD is releasing this year. Not sure why. It's on Switch, but and they mentioned the Switch is going to have backwards compatibility. The Switch 2 is going to have backwards compatibility, so maybe that's why it's out now, because the Switch 2 like announcement's imminent at this point. So I'm not sure why they're still releasing first party Switch games unless they're just going to release it. Well, if it's backwards compatible, they could just pop it into the Switch 2. For movies, we have Wolfman, which Brian might be up your alley, but another horror movie with the lady from what's the Breaking Bad, but with Jason Bateman in it.
Ozark.
Yeah, the blonde girl from Ozark.
Mm.
You're gonna have to
Ruth.
kill. Yeah, Ruth. When she yells,
Wait, we haven't even finished that show. Stuck. We forgot we were watching it.
"Oh, really? Oh, then let me not say
I
nothing
think
that
I'm only
I'll."
two. I think we're only two seasons in.
Oh, I thought you. Okay, my fault. I thought you caught. I thought you finished it before me.
I keep forgetting that I didn't.
Okay.
I don't
And
know if that
then
makes any sense.
it does. And then One of Them Days is the movie with Kiki Palmer and SZA in it. Looks like a pretty chill comedy. Will be out this week. And for music, I didn't see anything. I don't think we're revving up yet, unless there's gonna be some surprise drops. Last week we had Bad Bunny's album, which I guess I'll talk about next week because I've already heard it in full like twice now.
Mm.
Uh, that's all I got. Anything else you got?
Yeah. Mm-mm. I mean, fucking the weekend. I lucked out by being a week behind him, and then I mean him being nice and shit. He pushed back his album release to be the same fucking day as mine.
I think you have some sort of. You think you also have some clairvoyance in you. I don't know what it is. Or
I
some,
mean, we are variants of each other. I think so.
that might be why you felt the spiritual pull. You're like, it's gonna be the 31st.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. All right, that was it. We'll be back next week with, like I mentioned, I think Bad Bunny's album, maybe Bad Monkey, because I'm almost finishing that up. And depending if Castlevania Nocturne drops everything in one day, which it seems like they are, I might have that. I might binge that, but we'll see where we're at with that. That's it. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys next week. Bye.